What's up, Mortgage Coach community? It is, just weeks from the end of 2018. I'm Dave Savage, CEO and founder of Mortgage Coach, and I am here with my co-host and co-leader of this amazing group, Todd Buxman. What's up, brother?
Hey, not much. I'm very excited as we head into holidays to have some one-on-one time with you and a couple hundred of our favorite friends here at Mortgage Coach.
Yeah, no doubt. By the way, you asked us, by the way, hello, everyone. I just hit the broadcast button, Todd. So, this is what happens.
Hello. A second introduction.
Yeah. So by the way, if anybody's watched the recording, we're not going to redo that introduction for you. Everybody that just joined us live on Zoom, welcome to the second to last Friday Mastermind of 2018. This is not officially the last one. We are going to do one more next Friday. We will not be doing our Tuesday interview on Christmas Day. So sorry, guys. Enjoy Christmas. The Tuesday call will be off for the next 2 Tuesdays. But Todd and I were thinking about, hey, what should we do as we close out the year? So Todd, why don't you start? Because it was your idea. Like, you came up with the idea for today's call.
Well, no, and I appreciate that. You know, it's fun. You guys don't know behind the scenes, that Dave and I collaborate, because we really want to make sure we bring value every week to you guys. You guys are spending time, precious time, and we want to make sure that you really leave here thinking it was worthwhile. And the thing that hit me as we're hitting the end of the year, right? We hit our 5,000 members this year, and we continue to see amazing success stories inside of the group. And so what we thought we would do is really, they kind of fall in these different buckets of different strategies that people have had a lot of success with, have gained a lot of momentum with, and really want to make sure that we recircle to some of those strategies and really let you guys look at them through a couple of different filters, right? Number one is that a strategy that I should or shouldn't do? If I did or didn't it work? And if it did or didn't work, why or why not? And really just think through, really as you start building your idea list on your business plan for next year, what of these ideas do I need to either improve, install, or eliminate in order to make sure that I get momentum as I launch into next year? Does that sound good, Dave?
Yeah. So here's what we did. I'm going to show my screen here, and I'm going to walk you through how we're going to play today's call. So right now you should see Todd and I in video. We might have some other loan officers that we bring into this, called the video leadership role. But remember, this is a mastermind, and this is one where you guys need to participate. It's also one where having 2 screens might come in handy. If you don't have 2 screens, you might want to be watching us on one device and actually pull up our Facebook group on the other device. So right now you are seeing the Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind. And I think it probably looks the same for you as it does for me, although, I'm the administrator, so there could be some nuances. But you'll notice this section called announcements. And usually we're pretty thoughtful. We only have 1, no more than 3 in there at a time. And it kind of cycles throughout the week. It's either what we want you to know, or it's just what's trending. Like, oh, that's hot. Let's throw it in the announcement area. You'll notice that we've got 33 announcements right now. And that's because Todd and I we didn't spend a lot of time. We spent like 15 minutes, and we just scrolled through the Facebook group and things where you, the community, shared a success story. Like you bragged about something, you shared something. We promoted it, and we figured we'll just riff through this. The value we think you'll get is, 1, it will remind you of some things like, oh yeah, I remember that. And then 2, I think you'll get a new color for it. And by the way, maybe you missed it also. Maybe, this is just something that got by you didn't see. One last statement, and then Todd, let me know if I missed anything. Oh, there is one more thing. We're going to ask you if you like it, like if you haven't liked the idea, give it a like. Because as we're doing this call, we're going to remove it from the announcements. Like literally, we're going to talk about it, and within 30 seconds to a minute, one of us is going to take it out of announcements. It's going to go back to the bottom of the group unless you guys like it. So that's one more thing where you need to participate. Like when we're sharing the idea, if you're like, I dig that, that was cool, hit it, because then it will stay towards the top. So that's one last reminder. Todd, did I miss anything before we start riffing here?
No, let's hit it. And if you guys, as always, if you have any other comments or suggestions, throw it in the chat. We would love to hear your feedback as we're going. So if you tried one of these and you struggled, let us know. If you tried it, it was successful, but you didn't post it in here. Because that was one of the things I was telling Dave when he and I were syncing up last night is my guess is that for every one person who actually posts their success to the group, there's probably 10 or 20 or 30 of you who've also had success. You just didn't want to brag about it.
Yeah. And one more thing is you guys can save these. Like if that's a group where it's like, oh, I didn't see that. I want to read it and I want to comment on it later. One, you can save it. You click a button and close, save that post, and then it'll be one of your saved posts. And two, if you want to go back and find something, use our group. Like if it's, oh, I want to go back and study all those seller buy downs, type in seller buy down. If you want to look up something by someone's name, put in their name. So use the search feature. So this first one is from Patrick Cunningham. Patrick is part of a team, the Grossman team, my buddy Steve Grossman, in New Jersey. And I just love this because he had a goal that he wanted to do 2,000 TCAs, and he hit that goal. By the way, if you have done 2,000 total cost analysis, you are not a black belt. You are a mortgage coach ninja. So Patrick, awesome success story, great inspiration to the community. Todd, anything you want to add there?
Well, I mean, you know me, I'm all about goal setting, right? So I love the fact that somebody actually set a goal and hit it and posted about it, because I think that should be inspiration for the rest of you. If you've only done 10 TCAs, well, let's figure out what that goal looks like for 2019 and, set that goal and then work backwards into how many TCAs a week you got to make sure you push out in order to hit that goal. And that's how you make these ideas actionable, right, is by actually putting a number behind it and then coming up with a plan to bridge that gap, right? Wherever you are today to where you want to be at the end of 2019, let's put it on paper. Let's make it happen.
So that will be out of announcements in the next 30 seconds by either myself or Todd. So
I got it.
Andy Burton, dude, this post is fantastic. This is how a top producer, a baller who's planning thinks. And thank you for bringing in some of the way that you think into the group. Todd?
Yeah, I loved this one. And I was one of the people who commented on it pretty early on because, I think that annual mortgage reviews are a foundational pillar in 2019. They always have been. And you guys have heard me who watch Dave and I every Friday talk about it. That was the first time Dave had me on, was to talk about annual mortgage reviews. In fact, he had me on 2 or 3 times before he and I started doing this. That was always my thing. And we continue to see success stories from people doing it. But what Andy did that elevated the game is he actually gave you the numbers, right? Again, he was really specific, right? There's a word specificity. The more specific you guys get when you're posting like he did, then the more benefit you'll see. And then you'll also notice that I asked him to get even more granular on what was his process, and he shared his process because that's something I know that we all need, is an example from somebody else. And so this just sort of reminded me of like when we had Rick Shearer on this year and he talked about what his process was. There's some great resources that we've got in the community on annual mortgage reviews. And, again, I think any of you that have your tracking down like this would love to see you share it too. If you haven't been tracking, then maybe it's time to think about tracking, right? That's where I put on the coach's hat and just say, gosh, you know what? What I know is that if you can figure out what are the activities that are getting you the results you want, which my guess is that's a closed loan. If you guys can take the time to do that as you roll into 2019, it's easier just to start tracking today and then do it going forward and schedule time to review than it is to go and try to get all that data from last year. If you've got it from last year, by all means, right? Spreadsheet it, get it done. If you don't have it and it's hard to find, don't knock yourself out trying to figure it out. Just start tracking going forward and then it'll be pretty easy.
So real quick, again, guys, we got 30 of these, so we're going to go quick. We're going to try to give no more than 1 minute of narrative on each one. I do want to remind folks, it's important to not only do what Andy did, but how many past customers do you have? And remember, 10% is the goal. So if you have 700 past customers, 70 should be your goal. How many did you do last year? And then you've got how many incremental more you need to do this year. But guys, great one. That will be gone and out of announcements within 30 seconds. So if you like it, give her a like.
Like it up.
Todd, like it up. And Todd, I'll let you cover this one first. Rob Treat.
Yeah, you know what? It's, I love it because he's obviously highlighting, Jeremy, right? Jeremy Forcier, his videos are some of the most watched, videos that are there. And so it's that idea of swipe and adapt. I just said it. I mean, this is an example of someone saying, gosh, thank you guys. That video was great. And I did it myself. I took it for me and turned it into business. And so there's a huge opportunity. It's one thing to watch these videos. It's another thing to take notes and figure out what it is you're going to do next. And then the last piece is you got to execute, right? You have to spend that time to do it. And so this is really helpful when Rob came in here and said, hey, awesome, I did that, right? It's a high five to him from us. It's a high five to Jeremy for taking time out of his personal life and coming here. And then more importantly, it's an example for you guys to see, hey, I took Jeremy's example and I turned it into something for myself. Because when I hear Jeremy talk, I go, gosh, if I could talk halfly as articulate as him, I would be pretty smart. In fact, I just said halfly articulate. I don't even think that's proper grammar, Dave.
I'll take it, man. So this will be gone in 30 seconds. If you like it, I loved it. And I just loved it because it's showing one, I'm tuned in. I am using the YouTube channel as Netflix for loan officers. Want to remind you guys that if you want to look up a topic or a person, like I just typed in Jeremy Forcier and boom, some of the all-time best interviews right there for you. So that'll be gone in 30 seconds. So I posted this one. I just thought like, a picture tells 1,000 words, or maybe in 1,000,000 words. And just love seeing Mortgage Coach on stage. To me, it's a reminder that when you're giving one-to-many presentations, the total cost analysis should be a character in that. Should be on stage. And remember, that's part of your call to action. When you're, and we'll cover this in more, but like tell a story, show the TCA, and then go, hey, I can create one of these for your customers. Or I can create one of these for you if it's a first-time home buyer workshop. So just make sure that you're doing one-to-many events. Great story. That'll be gone in a minute. Linda Buchanan, I thought this was just cool because you saw how she has helping a realtor with a seller buy down, and she was able to get the realtor to put her mortgage strategy in the marketing. So boom. Anything you want to add, Todd?
Well, again, I mean, when you look at the buckets of things that we've seen the most success stories on from the most members of this community, the seller buy down, it's just been such a great narrative. I mean, I think, Dave, when you did some focus calls on that early on, when you wrote your LinkedIn article on it, sort of that manifesto of how to implement that, if you haven't, it's still not too late, but it's just a perfect example where there are really solid, normal loan officers just like you that are taking these ideas and implementing them successfully with their partners. And I think that's where oftentimes when I get feedback from people, I'm like, well, yeah, Jeremy can do that because he's so well-spoken and because he's really well-connected. No, you can do it too. And so, again, keep sharing because when you share, it inspires everybody else.
Beautiful. So, Linda, thank you for sharing. Graham, again, this is another seller buy down success story. And remember, guys, we just went in, and this is really only the past month, maybe 2 months of success stories. So we didn't go back and look at the entire year. So if you're on this call and you're like, hey, I shared a success story in June, it was badass. By the way, like it, share it, tag me or Todd on it. Maybe next week, when we're figuring out what the topic is for Friday, we'll do another round of success stories and strategies. But this is a common one where, hey, I just sent out a seller buy down to realtors, 3 different options. Great strategy. The one I did, this is another one from Jay. So Jay, thank you. You were a new leader in our community this year. Love all the great stories you're sharing and the great TCAs. Chris, I particularly love this one because Chris put a link to it, man. So we can actually, as a community, you can hear about a story and then you can see how an amazing mortgage professional tactically executed that story. So, he's branding himself, he's branding the realtor, he's got a property, and then he's wrapping finance strategies around a property. Boom. Huge value, Chris. Todd, anything you want to add about one of the 3 that we just covered?
No, I mean, again, I think you just nailed it. The fact is the more you can share with this community, there's 2 benefits, right? Certainly there's a benefit to the other people to look at it, but there's also a benefit for you to get feedback. And so those are some of my favorite posts is where I see somebody post what they did and ask for feedback or post what they did and someone gives them, some nice feedback. Don't view, like a smack on the side of the head. It's all constructive criticism, but that's how we grow. And I think that's been probably one of the areas where I've gotten the most positive feedback is I love the done for you stuff that people are sharing. And number two is people who shared or said, gosh, I've gotten some great feedback on how to make it better next time. And so don't be fearful that your video sucks. Be more fearful that you didn't actually ask for feedback and that you didn't improve.
Yeah. And then it just reminds me, one of the reasons why I started doing all these interviews is, I consume a lot of content. I read, I study, and then I realized that the way I can be the best leader possible is to create. It's to give back. And so I look at every one of these posts where you took that next step. You learned something, you put it into action, and then the time you took to write the post and share it with our group, you were there. And by the way, I have to believe that every loan officer and every professional that took that time to share and post, you got better. And by the way, you helped this community get better, and you helped all of us get better. So super grateful for that. What can we say about Jenny Stoner? And by the way, want to remind you guys, if you are watching this call passively and you're not liking these things, when we take them out of announcements, they just go down to the bottom. Like if this was from November, it's going to go back to November 16th. So if you want to keep it at the top of the thread and you liked it, make sure you like it. I think everybody needs to give Jenny a lot of likes. She has posted some of the most valuable content and some of the most liked content. You can see right here, she got 13 comments. She's had over 40 likes and probably growing, hopefully, this call. And again, she just does a masterful job. Anybody that is serious about using video on Facebook, email video, using Mortgage Coach, you've got to study Jenny Stoner. I mean, she's just killing it. The way she tells stories in her videos. And then you'll notice, to me, this is such a great tactic. She does this personal human connection on video. And then, and I put the total cost analysis down below. So, value, Jenny. Thank you.
Take a look too at just the setup of her office as well, right? What's behind you says a lot about you. And when you look at hers, there's a couple things I love. I love that there's a picture of family right there, to her right, but look at that picture wall. That tells a story to her realtors, that tells a story to her clients, that tells a story to her friends. They're all guessing that those are people that she's helped. And so that's kind of a cool thing to think about. What else can you do differently as you're getting out there and posting the videos? And I think the thing I would highlight there, she's a storyteller, right? It's not, get someone sucked in first, right? And then sell them on what it is. Like Dave said, oh, by the way, and there's a total cost analysis down there. She's just telling the story and connecting with people. And you guys can do that too. The stories, you just have to think differently about it. It's not sell. It's relationship, and then sell.
Yeah. And by the way, it's personal brand. So how intentional she is about the background of herself and her brand here. And then you notice how intentional she is about her professional brand. And then she's adding a video. So it's like, hey, here's options and strategies with a video. I mean, she is building a dynamite personal brand in the market that she serves. So give Jenny a like. Todd, if you could make sure you are what do you call them?
Unannouncer.
Unannouncing them?
No, I'm an unannouncer, so she should be coming off. My thing says that these people aren't announcements, but they're coming up as announcements. Right. So let me go onto my laptop and do that. So, it reminds me when you say personal brand, Dave, can we give a promo for our January 22nd Tuesday call where we're going to do the Agent 2021 recap?
You can do anything you want, man. I can't stop you.
So I'm kind of excited about that one, right? A lot of I'm going to be on a panel at Agent 2021 with a couple of other community members here. It's going to be one of the big ups from Banyer Media, so I'm a little intimidated by that. And then it's going to be myself, and it's going to be Jeff Zimpfer, who's a great member of this community. And then our moderator is going to be none other than mortgage professional John Downs. And so Jeff and I are doing a meetup the day before. So if you're going, make sure you ping us on that. If you are thinking about going to Agent 2021 through the holidays, they just did a buy one, get one 50% off deal. So again, if you go to my webpage, you can see the link. Or in fact, Jeff and I did a live earlier this week. You can see the link for the coupon. But would love to see you. If you live in Miami and you're not going to go to the event, come by and see us the day before. And more importantly, those of you who can't go, Dave and I are going to bring back some of the other panelists that are going to be in the mortgage segment on that Tuesday afterwards and host a call and share what we shared and share what we learned. So that'll be a lot of fun.
So, and what I'm going to do is when we get done with this call, we will have cleared out all the announcements. In that live interview that Todd did with Jeff Zemfer, we will put in announcements through the weekend. So guys, tune in, check it out. When it comes to personal branding, when it comes to social media, this is a big event. There are a lot of leaders from the mortgage coach community that are going to be there. I'm sure there will be some type of a mastermind cocktail hour or meetup or whatever.
That's what we're doing the day before. We're definitely, that is on the books right near the stadium.
Beautiful. So Bliss Sawyer. So first of all, Bliss, if you're watching this, thank you. You have just stepped up into such a great leadership role in this community. Not only do you join us on these calls often, by the way, Bliss, if you want to run one of these Friday calls over the next 3 months, just let me know what Friday at 9 o'clock and we'll make you the leader. You know, she's just constantly stepping up with value. And then she takes time to put in success stories, ask questions. If I was thinking of VIPs, like who are some of the most valuable people in this community in 2019, you would certainly be a finalist, if not the winner. Todd, anything you want to add here?
Well, and I would say what you should watch Bliss do is execute, right? I used that word earlier, and Bliss is one of those people who, when she hears an idea, she figures out immediately how it applies to her, right? So I said, use that filter of, hey, is this something I should do? And she doesn't waste any time. She just jumps right in, and she is pretty good at thinking it through. But I remember she and I did that Friday call, Dave, when we were at Sales Mastery, and she talked through on that call, ideas that she had heard the day before and already had implemented. And so if you haven't looked at her posts, like Dave said, go into the, search people, pull up Bliss, and she'll show you all the different ideas that she did. And then she shares with us what the strategies were, which is just super cool. So appreciate you, Bliss.
Appreciate you, Bliss. We were removing the announcement. I hope you guys liked it. It was awesome. Now, Derek Robin, you the man. Loving this. He's sharing a text. By the way, you're seeing, what happened to his post? Oh, here it is. You can see more and more mortgage coach loan officers sharing the link as a text, which we think is a best practice. Even if you email it, text it, and then you can see that, the client liked it. That's awesome. I really enjoyed the video. No one has done that for me. I really appreciate you taking the time. So my message on this, super cool that the client took the time and actually said that, but this is what everybody thinks. So like when you give them the total cost analysis, they may not say this back to you, but they are thinking some version of this. So first of all, I would love to see more feedback directly from consumers, directly from realtors. So shout out to anybody and everybody on this call. Share some of those stories. We want to hear what borrowers, what realtors are saying and how they're responding to our advice platform. And we're not just doing it to feed our own egos. We're doing it because we want to make impact. We want to help you guys do better. So I'd love to see more posts like this. Derek, thank you for sharing it, brother. And I'm sure you gave a lot of value to a lot of folks. Todd?
So two things I'm thinking about on this one, right? Number one is that whole multi-channel thing, right? If you look at the research on it, we know email's not opened that much anymore, right? So it's great that you email the link for the people who get it and it doesn't get sucked into their other filter, their promotional filter in Gmail, whatever service they use, but 99% of texts are opened, right? Think about that. 99% are open. And so make sure, you guys get notifications when people are opening their edge, right? If they're not opening your TCA that you're sending, start texting it too, right? Dave interviewed Steve Sims earlier this year. He wrote Bluefish, and Steve's become a friend. And he talks about the power of texting and the power of texting videos. And Dave's got it right here built into Mortgage Coach for you. And, it brings me back, Dave. I think it was about a year and a half ago, we had Kelly Zitlow on a call, and we talked through video and how kind of her playbook of how she teaches it to realtors, and she taught it to all of us. And she joked about the fact that people don't want to get on video because they're like, oh, look at my eye. It's kind of one doesn't open as much as the other. And she's kind of like, well, yeah, they see that when they talk to you anyway. And so remember that when you send someone a video, right, we're trying to outdo the competition, right? You can get an email or a phone call from the guy at that online lender. But if you can actually put a face to the name, you're building rapport. You are building relationship differently. And you guys all know it who've done it. Those of you who haven't, you're missing it. So make sure that you're putting that face out there. And you know what? It's not going to be perfect, right? You're going to make mistakes. And it's okay. People will actually appreciate that transparency. So I would just say, if you haven't done it, do it. If you're only emailing it, start texting it too. Just hit people every direction you can.
And just a reminder, you mentioned Kelly Zitlow in a video that she did. Just go to our Facebook group. I typed in Zitlow. I got all of it. If I wanted to get to her YouTube, so let's see, was YouTube mentioned in any of the Kelly Zitlow videos? Bam, there's the video that Todd was talking about. So just a reminder about how to use this community. We got Facebook, best place to make money on Facebook. We've got YouTube, Netflix for mortgage pros, only you make money watching our videos, and use the search features. That's how you get the most value. So Jerry, love this post, our feature called Mortgage Coach Live, where literally you can be talking to a family, they're looking at it on whatever device they're looking at it on, and you click a button on your device and it moves. They follow along. Super powerful feature. We're always shocked. Like when I do mastermind events, I fly into a city, I have a lunch with the biggest users of that market. I go around the room. Hey, tell us a little bit about your practice and what's your favorite feature? Our live feature is always on the list, but a lot of people don't know about it. A lot of people aren't aware, like Mortgage Coach Live, what's that? So Gary, thank you for sharing how much you love that feature. It's, every Mortgage Coach Black Belt in Ninja uses that feature and loves that feature, but a lot of loan officers don't even know about that feature. So nice job. Make sure you like this.
You guys are forgetting Dave's directions at the beginning of the call. You're supposed to be liking these posts as we're going through here. So we don't want you to be too distracted, right? Dave said if you got 2 monitors, run them up. But since there's only a few of us who like that one, you guys are doing a good job at the start. But get busy liking these posts. Let's keep that going. And I agree. That was a great feature when I was doing loans.
Yeah, and if you don't like it, that's okay. Like, just know it's going to go to the bottom of the list. And we're going to look at this after the call and go, hey, what did you guys like? What didn't you like? And that is going to guide what we talk about in future calls. So Jay, dude, this was awesome. He's at 11 likes right now. Let's see where this thing goes. Again, I love this for a couple reasons. I love pictures. Anybody that follows me on Instagram, you can see that I started using Instagram about 3 weeks after Instagram was founded. So I like photos. So anytime you are out there using Mortgage Coach in the wild, you take a photo and you post it, just know that it's going to be one of my favorite all-time posts. And if it's really awesome, I'll put it in our Mortgage Coach Instagram page. So we do have Mortgage Coach on Instagram, where we showcase a lot of real-world photos of Mortgage Coach in the wild. But here's what I like about this from a practical standpoint, is you open the mind of our community that, hey, you know what? I could go into a real estate office and leverage the TV and put Mortgage Coach up there and tell stories and strategies. So you're reminding and you're teaching us all how to use different channels of communication, use different platforms. So, and by the way, we've got some like this at open houses where the loan officer is savvy enough to come in and either leverage Apple Live or connected to a TV at a home or real estate office. You're learning to use all of your tools of influence and all of your tools of storytelling and strategy sharing. So great job. That's why I liked it, Todd.
That just tells me we probably need to do a show next year on how to use some of that technology, right? So for some people who don't understand that, a lot of real estate offices that I've taught it over the years have a Roku player, or they have an Apple TV, or they've got some way when you walk in there that if you understand their technology that you can hook into it. Or maybe it's just that they got that HDMI cable coming out. You need to have a special adapter on your computer, and it's how do you show up? I've got a Win by Noon backpack full of my stuff when I travel, so I can plug in wherever it is that I'm going to speak. to make sure that my technology can sync with their technology. So maybe we can do a half of a day or a full episode at some point on using the technology. But I agree with you. When you can go teach it, whether it's to one person or to many, you win.
Yeah. And by the way, I just read this closing comment where, again, he said my name. Thank you for that. But whether it was my name or not, he said, thank you to the group because you helped me completely captivate an audience of 6 to 10 agents over a 2-hour period. So guys, that type of success story, if you tag me or Todd or whoever you learned it from, hey, we appreciate that. But most importantly, we want to know what ideas are working and what ideas are driving your business. So thanks for kind of netting that out at the end. So Julie actually referred me to one of the guests that I interviewed just a couple of weeks ago. I'm not remembering the name. Sorry, Julie. But here's what I love about that. This is one, you're super excited. It's obvious. And then you shared a TCA and you asked the community for feedback. So great job on that. Anybody watching today's call, let's give Julie a big like because she stepped out and she's asking for help and she's giving feedback. And I'm trying to stop this. Great job of personally branding yourself. You've got your company brand. You've got you've got videos. You're killing it, Julie. Keep up the good work. Todd, anything?
No, I just think it says what I said before, right? Ask for feedback, right? That's the only way you're going to get better and be okay with it. Just because someone says, hey, that really stunk doesn't mean that it wasn't a value to your client. It just means that they think you can do better going forward. And what I love about Julie is that, I've never seen Julie before until this. And so when we get new people in the community, all that does is help the other people who are intimidated to put things out there to put things out there. So keep up the good work, gang.
And remember, we are removing these tags. So make sure you guys are going through these and liking these if you want to keep them at the top. So we are at Scott Nicholson. And Scott has just come on strong in the mortgage coach community. He was the mortgage professional in our community that gave us the idea for the seller buy down 10 years ago. And so it became part of the product. And then as rates started to shot up, Todd, he would be mortgage coach MVP this year. We'd have Bliss up there. We'd have Scott Nicholson up there. What I love about Scott is his posts are super educational. There's a story. He's sharing a strategy and he's giving a lot of advice. And by the way, when it comes to giving comments and feedback to others, it's some of the best advice. I mean, it's like, Scott, if you're listening to this, man, what you are bringing to our community, you could charge for. Now, I'm not recommending that you do that. We don't want you to do that. Keep bringing what you're bringing. But dude, you're like the seller buy down coach. I mean, you could literally, his comments and his posts are worth everybody on this call writing Scott a check. So Scott, thank you for that. And I, again, especially think, look at this, guys, inspirational post, success story, part 1, part 2, links to the TCAs. I mean, guys, you should schedule an hour on this particular post and just study it and master it. And I promise you, it would equal not one more loan, it would equal multiple loans if you just took what Scott shared in this post and put it into action. Todd?
Well, and the interesting thing about it is you don't actually have to have a client you're preparing the TCA for, right? You're seeing people do it for different listings as well and making them generic so that they can share them on social, right? Think about the whole idea of the personal brand piece that Dave talked about a few minutes ago, where you really want to be thinking about, I want to be that guy who the realtors know is adding value and getting really detailed with strategies and tactics that'll help me and my buyers, right? I want to be that loan officer and they say, gosh, I'm going to call her because I know that she will have ideas with me, to share with me that I might not get elsewhere. And it's take these things that you're seeing here, you can replicate the TCAs they're doing without the addresses or names, obviously, sample people and put it out there. So that's just something I think that Scott's done a great job of giving us examples of.
Cool. And by the way, Todd, how we were kind of worried we might have too many success stories. I think we're going to get through it. We got about 25 minutes left. We got about 17 more announcements to cycle through. And remember, folks, if you're watching this, this is a time to multitask a little bit. You know, give these posts a like if you like it, or save it, because they are going to go away. They're not going to be in announcements. You know, this was on November 1st that this was posted. If no one likes it, when we click, where is the button? Oh, Todd's already clicked the button. It won't be an announcement. It'll be gone. But by the way, if you did want to find this, you could type in Scott's name into search. That would find it. And you could probably type in seller buy down, and that would find it too. Or like, hey, you could go, oh, I remember he said TCA link. You could type in TCA link and you'd find it. So FYI on that.
Sorry, Dave, I'm just rolling through and cleaning house like I'm supposed to over here.
Keep doing it, man. I mean, let's talk about it and let's move them down. So Bliss, we can't see this entire success story because something isn't sharing. I don't know if you took it down or if you have your permissions. But you know, the takeaway here was that Bliss did a Facebook Live. You know, so using Facebook Live, she talked about the seller buy down. Rick Shear did that. We've seen a lot of mortgage coach loan officers do it. Great strategy. Thank you for sharing, Todd.
You know, it's interesting. I think that the idea of Facebook Live, you know, I've kind of played around with it over the last couple of months. Some of you have been kind enough to watch and comment and really think through, right? Facebook is pushing that. So if Facebook's pushing it, would that be a benefit to me? I'm guessing the answer is yes. And really think through, are there some opportunities that I have for things that I know to produce content in my day-to-day that would be valuable to my clients, to my partners, and to my friends at the Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind community?
Yeah, I thumbed through this because I was looking for Rick Shear's Facebook Live. Rick did a really good job of a Facebook Live announcing the seller buy down strategy. By the way, Mike, thank you for those likes, you know, getting after it, bud. We like that. Michael Rodriguez, this picture is badass. First of all, I just dig the photo. I dig the fact that it has the word mastermind in it. So, you know, I don't know whose office this is. If this is your office, someone else's office, it's got a really cool vibe. And telling stories. So great job, buddy. Really like that a lot. Todd, anything you want to add?
You know, it looks, I won't say what brokerage it looks like, but it, you know, again, I think it's just one more example of people out there doing the things that we want you guys to take away and learn from the mortgage coach community. And remember, you've seen these different examples now, a few of them in offices. You've seen it where there's just a handful of people in there. You've seen it now where there are, you know, 20, 30 people there in Blisses, and now here's something in between. And so again, my coaching to you guys, my encouragement is don't feel like it's got to be a certain number of people. Be more focused on the connections that you can make in a group like that. And then the other thing I would throw out there, just because it's one of the pieces I've been really focused on over the past 90 days, is when you have an event like this, make sure that you're going in there and you've thought through ahead of time what that follow-up strategy is, right? So he's got 1, 2, 3, I don't know, like 8 people in there maybe. And, you know, you want to have, if there's 8 people in that room, you want to make sure that you leave there with their contact information. You want to make sure that you follow up with them individually to ask them if they have any questions on the strategy, and then, you know, hopefully get the meeting to go through it with them and then help them with some examples for their clients. And there's going to be the win.
And just want to remind you guys, I mean, realtor masterminds are something that we're very passionate about. We do a lot of education around that. Go into our Facebook group. I think I actually have a playlist for realtor masterminds, but, you know, type in realtor masterminds and you will see all the calls where we focused on an actual realtor mastermind, kind of enhancing this search. Boom. By the way, in case you guys didn't know it, like if you type in realtor mastermind, it's going to pull up anything that has one of those 2 terms. But let's say you wanted to make sure that both words were in the title. You put quotes around it, and now realtor mastermind has to be in there, and we have fine-tuned our search. This particular call, which was 5 years ago, was one of the all-time best masterminds I did for Jeremy Forcier. He paid me, flew me into Chicago. We crushed one of the most high-end, most valuable realtor masterminds ever. So check it out. If you want to do masterminds with Realtor, there's just a whole lot of content for you to check out here. Todd, I'll let you take the first shot of this post from Carlos.
I think it's, again, someone who's obviously talking about what's near and dear to our heart, which are, right, the mortgage coach videos for everything, right? And so he just said, hey, I swiped and adapt, or he called it swapped and adapt. I mean, ultimately, just a reminder to you guys of what we've been trying to show you today is that there's all these things in here that some of you have tried and some of you have avoided. I guess that would be a good word to use. And I think this is just great encouragement. Again, Carlos isn't a name I see in the community all the time. And so, I'm grateful for the fact that he jumped in and made a comment that he had success again. And here it is. It's some of the similar stuff that we've been talking about kind of combined into one post. And I would just encourage you guys to think about deploying this strategy as well.
Yeah. And Carlos, thank you, man. It's good to see you posting. Want to always remind people, and I'm not saying like this post is fantastic, A+. You can see that I didn't like it. I loved it. But also always just think, hey, is there a TCA that helps tell the story? Is there a photo that helps tell the story? And by the way, share a story and feel free to ask a question too. But great job. And then, just pure testimonial from Mike. Mike, we love pure testimonials. That's awesome. We love reviews on our Facebook page. Anytime you guys get value from Mortgage Coach or me, hey, we appreciate hearing about it. So post it in the group, post it on our Facebook page, give me an endorsement or a recommendation on LinkedIn. Todd Bookspan dedicates so much time and love to this community. Make sure you give him love. If you get value, just know it's appreciated. Love that. Seth, what's up, Seth? Seth is a very cool Mortgage Coach member that's killing it with Mortgage Coach. I love, hey, quick win to share. I won a deal where the client was shopping unbeknownst to me. By the way, guys, just heads up for everybody, your clients are shopping unbeknownst to you.
Every one of them.
Every one of them. And by the way, now that Zillow owns a mortgage company, Redfin owns a mortgage company, Keller Williams in the mortgage space, they're going to shop a little more. Shopping is going to be easier. This is the new, it's not a question in 2019 whether you're getting shopped. The question is, are they going to threaten your business? And by the way, and the next question is, are they going to do it at the point of sale? Or are they going to wait till you've worked your ass off and you've helped them get their dream home in escrow and you put in, countless hours in getting them pre-approved and going through 3 different offers with 3 different houses or worse, and then grind you? That's the only question. So Seth, and by the way, Seth, you reminded us of that. They were getting after it. They were challenging you. I'm sure he used some of the scripting from our conversion playbook, a la, I think it was it Jeremy who first gave us that script that, talked about, hey, did they provide you a total cost analysis? Ask the lender. So you can see that he clearly trained his client to, that this TCA had value. And he clearly it wasn't just an accident that when the client asked other lenders for their TCA and they didn't have it, that they're like, dude, your rate's higher, but we're going with you because we trust you and we appreciate the transparency of value. That wasn't just good luck. That was because he delivered value. He trained his customer. When they did shop him, they shopped him in a way that drove a victory for him. So Todd, anything you want to add?
It makes me think of 2 things, right? So one other announcement, I don't know. Well, you mentioned scripts. So let's just talk about the fact that Scriptapalooza is one of the most watched videos of the year from earlier this year. So if you're looking for scripts, don't forget that is there. And, I think that's really critical to keep that in mind. And I think the other thing that Dave said is be okay with the fact that your clients are shopping you. Just make sure that you're better than the competition when it comes to establishing that relationship and being the trusted advisor. And what I'm finding is that it's going to take you time to connect with the client. And if you allow it to be just about rate, then it will be. I loved Josh Metal kicked us off on Scriptapalooza, and he said the reason that your clients ask you about interest rate is because it's the only question they know to ask. And so when you take the time to actually walk them through, kind of pivot is the word that comes to mind, over to something different, right? Pivot to that conversation around strategy versus rate, right? That, all those old scripts that the best rate on the wrong product is going to cost you more money over time. And so, again, Dave and I got some things in the works for next year that maybe we'll talk about today, maybe we won't, that you guys will be excited about. Yeah. So a couple things, guys. So Scriptapalooza, I think it may be the most viewed video of 2018. I think I might just write it over this weekend. I'm going to be doing a LinkedIn post showcasing the most viewed and favorite videos in the mortgage coach community. And Scriptapalooza will certainly be on the list. I think it will likely be number one. Coming into this holiday, just a reminder, you might want to rewatch that. Todd and I have confirmed that we're going to be doing Scriptapalooza 2019, number 2, Roman numeral 2. We're going to be doing that in February, so keep an eye out for that happening. By the way, we've got a few people that we've confirmed, but we want to bring in some new blood and some new faces. So if you are closing over 100 loans a year, you're a black belt with Mortgage Coach, you're also in the Win by Noon community, and you want to be on that ticket, PM us, post it on our group, say, I want to do it. Or by the way, if you know someone, like there's a woman or a man, guy or gal in your office that's a black belt at Mortgage Coach killing it, and you think they should be on Scriptapalooza, let us know. But check it out. And just remember, we have these playlists. Check them out. Also, it gave me a reminder, first of all, Seth, the way you wrote this post was exceptional. I mean, great job of just telling a story that was valuable. And by the way, that showed up because it's been liked 133 times, and by the way, it's probably getting liked a few more times. Boom. Someone else just liked it. So great job at bringing the story back into the community. This is really well done, Seth. Love it. So this is one where a Mortgage Coach member, this came out of comments. So, this was something that was in a comment of Josh's comment. And I just thought it was so, on point. It was another situation where someone won because of a total cost analysis. And they just said that they trusted you. Let's face it, if the family trusts you and respects you, they're going to do business with you. And so it was just a good little shout out on that. So nice job on that. Todd, anything on Sean? It's funny because I'm just flipping down and looking at all these and removing the ones that we've gone through. And again, what I liked about Sean's post is he said, hey, I just presented to the top 30 people, and then it got on that next meeting, right? And so it always comes back to this idea that it's the opportunity behind the opportunity, right? It's that when you share with one person, it may lead to more. In this case, he shared it with 30 and it went to, something bigger. But I continue to hear about that where people are meeting with one person. One of my Win by Noon guys shared Win by Noon with one person in an office, and then now he got to present it to the whole office. And so just think about the whole idea of who can you share it with, who maybe can get you that opportunity to share it with more. And again, more for you may just be 2 or 3 people that you're comfortable with, or it could be a whole office full of people, but just know that there's tools and examples in here like this that you can use to crush it.
Yeah, and then by the way, this one, again, another screenshot of a comment. This is a realtor. So, this is a loan officer that shared, I think it was a seller buy down TCA, and the realtor said, this is incredible, really well done. I want to blast a Facebook link. So a realtor is saying, love that strategy, love what you did. Will you give me a link so I can put it on my Facebook page and make it rain? Boom. This is what you guys want to do. So go back, find the chat. But I mean, this is the game. How can you get a realtor so jacked about one of your strategies, loving your video, loving the total cost analysis link, that they want to put it in their MLS link or their MLS description so they can help sell a home, or they want to put it on their Facebook page and tell all their friends and family. That's the game we're playing here, guys. Todd?
And of course I love Jeremy. So I met him last year at Agent 2021. He's a good dude, a friend of Rick Shears. And, again, I think that there's, we got gems, like you mentioned, like Seth a few minutes ago, Jeremy, people that I've had the fortune to meet this past year at different events. And so, I kind of loved a couple of things that ties me back into, you mentioned your masterminds when you go into other communities. I kind of made a note, Dave, for you and I to discuss that later. We should look at where can we show up next year and break bread with some of the folks here in the community. So I'll make sure that I continue to post out there my calendar for you guys. I'd love to get together and meet more of you in person, because ultimately when I see something like this, it puts a smile on my face just because I had the opportunity to hang out with Jeremy.
So guys, we got 9 minutes left. We're going to go quick. But by the way, we're going to go a couple minutes over if we need to, because, someone posted a success story. I want to make sure we talk about it. I cheated here. This is the only time where it's not a success story, but I posted it because I think this is possibly the most important question you need to ask yourself over the holiday is, how many past clients do I have in my database? If you don't know that number, do not come into January 1st or January 2nd of 2019 and not know that number. Please, please don't do it for me. Do it for you. Don't do it for you, do it for your family and your kids. So know that number. And then how many loans from past customers did you close in 2018? If you don't know that answer by January 2nd, I'm telling you, it is mortgage malpractice. You are just leaving all your easiest leads, all your easiest loans are being left on the table. So I wanted to just do a rant on that. By the way, I'm going to leave this in announcements, so that next Friday, we remind you again how important this is, that you've got an answer. And by the way, it's sad, 5 people like this, 11 comments, it just tells me and Todd that, we just need to keep talking about this. So hopefully you'll like it. And by the way, hopefully you'll comment on it, answer the question, because I'm leaving it in announcements because it's just that important. Todd?
So Dave, it's really critical, because you said earlier in the call, it's 10% is the target, right, for past client conversion.
Correct.
You guys have to have a strategy for that. And we know it's the annual mortgage review. And we know that it's not that difficult in today's day and age to automate parts of that. But in the end, it's picking up the phone and calling your clients. And you can't rewind the clock. If you did a poor job of this in 2018, oh well, right? Missed opportunity, but just don't use that in 2019, right? I think that's the critical piece. And I think we'll just continue to talk more about it. I've got some content I've been putting out on it. So if you haven't seen it, ping me. I'm happy to share it with you.
Yeah, and I'm going to be sharing success stories. Wally Elderberry doubled his referrals from his past clients. I think it's over 80 loans he closed in 2018 as a result of his annual review. And that's the only thing he did different. All he did is he just said, you know what, I'm going to make annual review a priority. I'm going to resource it with my team. I'm going to execute it. He got an extra 40 loans this year.
You know what he did differently though, Dave, is you interviewed him and he put it out there, and that was accountability, right? Oftentimes you need accountability. So I would encourage you to find someone else in your office, find someone else in this community, and then commit the goal to them and hold each other accountable to get there, because that, Wally's Wally, he executes at a high level, but I promise you that there was days where he didn't want to do that, where there was other things getting in the way. And he's like, well, shoot, Dave's going to ask me about this in front of everyone. I don't want to have to admit I sucked at it. So he actually made that commitment, made a decision to really be great at it this year. And ironically, it paid off, right? He hit $100 million for the first time. I just saw him post it. So big high five, Wally.
Yeah. So guys, this is not going to come out of announcements. This will be a topic next Friday. And by the way, I hope there's more than 11 announcements in 6 likes. But by the way, it is what it is. So if it's still the same, that's cool. We'll just change how we tell the story, and Todd and I will work to help y'all. So Walt is just like new mortgage coach MVP. Look at this post, guys.
61 comments.
Yeah, 44 comments, 45 likes, or maybe I'm seeing the numbers wrong. Maybe it is. But
that's bizarre. Mine says 61.
Well, you know what? I think it is. I think it is a bigger number than what I'm seeing. I don't know why it's showing this, but bottom line is one of the most engaged posts of the year. Great leadership on your part, Walt. Great story. Huge value. Walt's getting value from this community, and Walt is bringing it back. So thank you, brother. And if you did not read this, I recommend this is one that's worth like saving it. And, not only reading the post, studying what Walt's doing, but then, jumping in and reading the comments. Really good leadership here.
And I'll be really quick because I know we're running short on time, but my two takeaways from that are, Lunch and Learns are going to work in 2019 to get in front of more people, but I love he teamed up with a title company because they have something that you don't have, which is their realtors. And so team up with somebody else and let them invite some of the people, and then obviously share your network with them as well.
Yeah. So Dan Keller, one of the newest success stories in the community. This was just a couple of weeks ago or a week ago. Dan became the Seattle partner for American Dream TV. That is something I'm super passionate about, that every time Craig Sewing opens a city, and I think he's at 28 cities around America, that it's a mortgage coach. I want it to be a black belt ninja mortgage coach. Dan Keller's a ninja. He's done over 1,000 TCAs. So a win for the community, win for American Dream, win for Dan Keller, win for all the realtors that he supports. If you don't know what I'm talking about right now, go back and listen to, I think it was last week or the week before's Mastermind. Let's see here. Mastermind, this one right here, Lunch and Learns, picture of Dan. And anyways, check it out. Also, I'll be interviewing more people on this throughout the year. Anything you want to add to that, Todd?
I think American Dream, for those of you who don't, who haven't seen Craig, I mean, he was super influential on my career. He started off with doing the radio thing and transferred to TV. And, one of my good friends, David Fallerino's launched it super successfully in New York. And, would they ping you, Dave, if they wanted more info on that? Or what?
Yeah, ping me, Dave at mortgagecoach.com, or text me if you want to know more. So guys, we're going to go quick. We're going to go a few minutes over, but I don't want to go too many minutes over. I just wanted to, read this to everyone who created a video and or who posted or commented something that inspired, helped someone in this group. You're a leader. So thank you for that. If you like that, man, it's my own post. I like it. Scott Nicholson, man, this is one of the all-time great posts, and it shows he's got over 93 likes, 24 comments. This might be my favorite post of the year, where Scott Nicholson, MVP in this community, shared a success story, and then he videoed himself bringing it down, giving value to a room full of realtors. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. This video is worth 1,000,000 words. This is what it looks like, it feels like to be a leader. Notice it's got Mortgage Coach on the screen. So obviously, being Mr. Mortgage Coach, he had me at hello. But this is tremendous leadership. Todd?
I noticed that they're not on their phones, right? I mean, to me, that says something different. Like I've learned as I'm speaking to groups, when, a year ago I was speaking and it wasn't that interesting, right? Everyone's scrolling on their phones. And, when I get to the end of the year and I've updated my content and I've engaged more, and you sit in a room and no one's on their phones, they're adding value. So I love seeing that they're all looking at him. They're all looking at what he's doing. And, again, kudos to him, and just one more great example.
Yeah. By the way, I gave that a wow. That was not like love. That was like, what? All right. We're getting through it. Danielle, by the way, Danielle, you are killing it in the community. I love your energy. I love the value you're bringing. Obviously, at 53 likes, the whole community loves it. Todd, anything you want to add?
I just love this one because it's a new member, right? You new folks, we want to hear from you too. So I'll just leave it at that, because ultimately it's just one more example of how we benefit from all of you coming into our community.
Keep bringing it. Totally appreciate it. Not sure why this made the cut. I'm going to just pass that. Keith Collins, man, Keith is just a complete baller. He's a top producer. He's a regional leader. I can assure you, Keith will be, hey, I can already tell right now, I'm going to invite Keith to Scriptapalooza. He's on the team next year, assuming he can make it. I just interviewed him on personally branded advice. So Keith, just keep bringing it to the Mortgage Coach community. I think this might be the last one, Todd, and then we'll wrap it up. Julie Brown Swenson, you rock. The energy you bring to the community is amazing. Obviously this was something that I loved hearing from, just that, hey, you read this quote The Principle, one of my favorite books of 2018. She read this quote, meaningful relationships and meaningful work are mutually reinforced, especially when supported by radical truth and radical transparency. And the first thing that she thought of was our community and Mortgage Coach. So appreciate that. At the end of the day, the total cost analysis helps you turn transparency and advice into your competitive advantage. And this group is just a manifestation of the people that are attracted to Mortgage Coach, and that, they're bringing radical transparency. So guys, this was my closing post. Julie, thank you for the inspiration. And everybody on this call, I hope, this conversation Todd and I had with you reminded you of some ideas, brought you some value. And then, by the way, I hope it inspires you to be more active in the community, whether that's posting something, taking that front seat leadership role in the community, or whether that's commenting, being a coach, being a mentor, saying something that's helpful. Really appreciate you, man. Todd, anything you want to close out on?
No, I just want to second what you said. You know what, as we're heading out of into the holidays, some of you will be unplugged. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your time with your family. And as always, I'm grateful for you, Dave. I'm grateful for our community and you all giving us time each week, whether it's here live or on video, to learn and to share, and just wish you guys all the happiest of holidays.
Beautiful, guys. This call is a wrap. Have a Merry Christmas. We will see you next Friday at 9:00. We will not see you on Tuesday. Todd Bookspan, I appreciate you, brother.
All right, my man. All right, guys. Enjoy.
Take care, everybody. Have a good one.